Welcome back to A Course in Miracles series, episode 4. In today's video, I'd like to talk about a fundamental principle taught in the Course, which is the healing power of love. Now, the definition of a miracle as defined by the Course is a shift in perception from fear to love. And while the Course states that the whole purpose of the book is finding the peace of God, it could also accurately be said that the whole purpose of the Course is the recognition of love. Because when we cannot see love, we cannot have the peace of God. Peace is the outcome of the miracle, but love is the cause of the miracle. And so because of this, the third line in the opening chapter of the Course says, "Miracles occur naturally as expressions of love. The real miracle is the love that inspires them. In this sense, everything that comes from love is a miracle." So I'd like to look deeply into the idea of why only love is true and why everything else is a misperception. This is something the Course hammers again and again throughout the book. And it's not only the essence of true spirituality, but it was also the essence of Christ's message. You've heard it was said in the days of old, an eye for an eye. But today I give you a new commandment. Love your enemies. Bless those who persecute you, and do good to them, that you may be called children of your Father in heaven. Just try to imagine the outrage that the Pharisees must have felt when they heard Jesus make this statement. Who is this man who dares to correct the sacred scriptures, introducing new commandments? This is blasphemy. But the scriptures say that they could not seize Jesus because they feared the size of the crowd who followed him. Everyone wanted to come and hear this man who spoke the message of love, a message of forgiveness and reconciliation, not wrath and judgment. Everyone wants to hear the message of love because love is what we are, and the message of love calls us to return home again to our true nature. The ego can only see separation, so it looks out and sees a guilty world full of sin and evil. But the Course states again and again that evil does not exist. There is only love and our own blindness to it. Understanding this is where true forgiveness comes from. It is recognizing that your brother is not evil, he is blind. He cannot see love. Someone who cannot see love is like a fool groping around in the darkness. What he needs is to be shown the light. The Course says, sin is defined as the lack of love. Since love is all there is, sin in the sight of the Holy Spirit is a mistake to be corrected, rather than an evil to be punished. So how can we expect someone who lacks love to behave lovingly? How can we expect an insane person to behave sanely? If someone hates themselves, it is their personal duty to unleash their self-hatred on others. And so this is why judgment is both useless and counterproductive. To judge someone is to reinforce their delusion. So through your eyes, they see the confirmation of their separation and insanity. But if you can offer them forgiveness, then you must have recognized that they are simply unaware of love and are needing to be shown it. The only way to heal anyone is through love. So whenever you love or forgive someone, you are declaring in time and space, this is what God is like. Forgiveness is the most difficult spiritual practice of all, and for very good reason, because it's where all the gold is found. It is the ultimate assault on the ego's empire and all the illusions of separation it has built. The ego goes kicking and screaming to the guillotine of forgiveness because it knows that its entire kingdom will come crashing down. The ego cannot forgive because the ego can only see separation. So it believes, I am this body, therefore anything that happens to this body is an attack on who I am. And forgiveness essentially looks ego in the eyes and says, your entire premise of reality is false. It's no wonder we find forgiveness so difficult. Forgiveness does not say, hey, what you did to me really hurt, but that's okay. Forgiveness says, you didn't do anything to me at all. It doesn't ask you to accept what someone did. It asks you to see that nothing can ever be done to you. It asks you to stop seeing yourself as a body and to stop believing the ego's lie that you are a victim. A healed person cannot attack. A sane person cannot behave insanely. And so forgiveness is really just to recognize that no one can ever attack me. They can only attack an illusion of who they think I am, which is always based on a judgment that they have about themselves. And when you recognize this, forgiveness is automatic. So the only thing forgiveness ever really asks of you is to recognize that you are invulnerable. The Course says, only loving thoughts are true, and everything else is a cry for help and healing. The errors that others commit are a desperate cry saying, I am lost in a world of illusions, creating misery for myself and everyone around me. And if someone could only show me the light, I would not have to carry this pain anymore. And in every moment, as often as a brother sins against us, we have the option to extend the healing hand of forgiveness and set them free. The Course says that forgiveness reflects the law of heaven, that giving and receiving are the same thing. So when you offer freedom to another, you offer it to yourself simultaneously. Because if I can recognize that you cannot hurt me unless I believe that your illusion is true, then I must have first recognized my eternal value. Love heals both the giver and the receiver. This doesn't mean we don't experience pain. It means that we do not have to suffer from our pain. We fight and wrestle against forgiveness all the way until the edge of the cliff. But we find that all that ever happens once we truly forgive is perfect peace and love. In the light of forgiveness, the fear of separation is transformed into the invulnerability of love. God is love, and only God exists. Therefore, there is only love and the ignorance of it. So you only need to ask yourself, do I want to perpetuate and enhance this person's misperception by judging them for it? Or do I want to heal their misperception? Love demonstrates invulnerability, and it is for this reason that forgiveness offers you everything that you want. Now, if you're having trouble forgiving someone, there is no judgment in that. You are not alone. Forgiveness is a difficult part of the spiritual journey that all of us must make if we truly want freedom. But if you find yourself stuck on this, just continually ask yourself the question, do I really want to be a victim more than I want to be free? Do I really want this pain more than I want peace? Because the moment you truly recognize the futility of holding on to a victim role, the miracle of healing occurs. The Course says that healing happens the instant that the sufferer no longer sees any value in pain. You will not be free until you can accept that the only road to salvation is through forgiveness. This is what the Course means when it says that heaven is entered 2 by 2. It means that the only way to get to heaven is through the person that I am judging. If I can see them as perfectly forgiven and innocent, then I am free. And so this is why enlightenment is not a learning, but an unlearning. It is not a seeing, but an unseeing. Because whenever I'm judging someone for what they've done to me, what is it that I ultimately want at the core? I want to erase the error. But the problem is that perception is creation. So to judge the abuser is to create the abuser. To judge the abuser is to agree with the abuse. So the question is never, do I want to forgive them? But do I want to agree with who they think they are? As soon as you can answer this question, forgiveness is automatic. Because you recognize that to judge them is to agree with their illusion. It's essentially you saying, yes, I also agree with who you think you are. So your judgments actually blind you from being able to see the true cause of someone's pain. But love opens the eyes of the blind and allows you to see the true reality of someone's darkness. So whatever I love, I heal. But what I judge, I cannot love. So to forgive someone is essentially to see God in them, asleep in the form, and to reach past the illusions of who they think they are, and to take their divinity by the hand and pull it out of them, and say, wake up, O sleeper. This is who you really are. And if I can see it in you, then I open the doorway for you to see it. So forgiveness is the ultimate act of self-love and empowerment. It is the demonstration of God's kingdom on earth and the declaration that mercy triumphs over judgment. It is placing myself in alignment with God's reality, that there is only love and our own blindness to it. And just as Christ opened the eyes of the blind, we have the opportunity in every moment to open the blindness of guilt and separation through the healing power of love and forgiveness. So I'll leave you now with one final quote from the Course. Forgiveness is the means by which we will remember. Through forgiveness, the thinking of the world is reversed. The forgiven world becomes the gate of heaven, because by its mercy, we can at last forgive ourselves. Holding no one as prisoner to guilt, we become free.